Day 18 will be mainly a driving day. It's not the way we originally planned it. We wanted to spend a lot of time in Rocky Mountain East, but we had to drive all the way around, and we'll be staying in Steamboat Springs tonight. The original plan was to drive this road, but this area is blocked, so we couldn't, so we had to take a 150-mile detour around. So let's get started. It's a long drive. As we leave Estes Park, we'll be covering some of the area we covered the day before, and we'll be heading south. Soon we'll be passing Wild Basin area where we stopped yesterday, but we won't be missing the deer as there are many deer out even on the road.
Oh, they're deer. They were deer.
And we continue to head southward as the mist rises from the mountains. We'll be moving in and out of various high elevations, so we'll be moving in and out of snow areas. As we head south to the interstate, we pass through Central City, which is basically a gambling area with dozens of casinos. To get to the casinos, they've made some well-kept-up roads, and you have to go through some mountain passes to get there. We finally make it to the interstate and head west. Soon we're getting off and heading north again up through some passes, but this time on the other side of Rocky Mountain National Park. As we head north and get into higher elevations, it starts to snow and gets heavier and heavier as we go. Along the way, we'll be passing several ski resorts that are pretty well abandoned this time of the year. And Tabernash is one of those cities that kind of shuts down during the summer, but during the winter has people all over everywhere with winter sports. We've now dropped down into some of the lower elevations, and you can see the snow has stopped. But as we enter Granby, you can see the mountains in the distance that we're headed toward. We now head over the North Fork of the Colorado River into Grand Lake Village, the western entrance to the Rocky Mountain National Park. The park has hundreds of peaks, 60 of them over 12,000 feet high, and the Trail Ridge Road we'll be driving on, 10 miles of it is over 11,000 feet high. It's the highest road in North America, and that's why part of it is closed down. As you can see from this sign coming up, it's 48 miles to Estes Park, but we've driven over 150 to go those 48 miles. Because of the closed road.
10 miles ahead, it's closed.
And now we come to the entrance of the western section of Rocky Mountain National Park, founded in 1915. Yesterday we were looking in this area. Today we'll be looking in this area and along the Colorado River. We'll be looking at the area that forms the Colorado River along these various meadows here, and we'll be looking for moose mainly. As you can see, the Colorado River here is just a small stream. The trickles in this meadow come together to form the Colorado River that then passes by Arches National Park, on through Canyonlands National Park to Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, through the Grand Canyon, and on to Lake Mead and Hoover Dam, where we started a few weeks ago. We've followed it now for most of its course. This area is called the Kawanichi Valley, and we're going to stop at the Visitor Center for just a few minutes. You can see the tall lodgepole pines here. The road we'll be taking has the forest on the right mainly, and on the left will be a meadow where the Colorado River starts. The mountain pine beetle has been decimating the pine trees here, and you can see how many have died in this area. This is a typical mountain meadow. Out there is where the Colorado River is starting. You can see a little bit of it close to us. Here you can see as the snow melts, trickles start to form, little waterfalls and streams flowing down into the meadow from the hills around it and the forested area around it. And then as it flows toward the meadow. It flows underneath the road and out into the meadow to join the Colorado River. Here the Colorado River is not much more than a little stream you could probably ford across. And you can see it started to snow again. Here again we can get a pretty good look at how swift the Colorado River is here, even though it is fairly small. The Holsworth family bought this area in 1970 as a guest ranch and built cabins on it, such as this one here. They sold it to the park in 1973. And now anybody can come and visit these meadows. Finally, there in the distance, we see what we've come to look for. Moose. And now, as the sign says, we've come to the closed road. It's only 3 miles across here that is closed, but because of that, this 48-mile trip has actually taken us 150 miles and over 5 hours to make.
That's closed.
As we turn around and head back out of the park, we pass by the moose again as they're resting. And then it's time to leave for Steamboat Springs.
Drive 76 miles on US 40.
Along the way, we're going to run into a whole lot more snow and bad weather, but the roads are clear. For a while we drop down into lower elevations, but you can see in the distance more snow is coming. And now as it starts to snow, you can see we get more and more snow around us. And then we drop in elevation again and get out of the snow one more time. Soon we're arriving in Steamboat Springs, a resort town. We're going to be spending the night here.
118 quality Inn Suites.
And as we pull into our hotel, we settle in, and this ends day 18.